right. So we are live again. Yeah, it just feels like one of those weeks, one of those days, one of those times when we are, in the middle of something. So I am reckoning that maybe we won't get as many people here as we usually do. But we need to finish this workshop that we started last time. And so if those of you who are here would like to say hi in the comments, just to tell me a little bit about where you are right now. Is your week a good one, or is it a terrible one? Or are you in this really eager, dire stage where you just feel like the fall is sort of beating on all of your nerves? I don't know, just write something to tell everyone that you are here. If you are watching from YouTube, then you can, do the thingy and just to show you're alive. And if you are on Facebook, you can do the same, but then there is the like option. I don't know. We're 3 people here right now. We are gonna get going with this because last time I was a bit optimistic in terms of time. And for those of you who are not remembering what we did last time, we started working with this canvas on Miro, where we had 3 different ways in which you could break that time in your once you have you launch a product. You launch some kind of product, or you have an idea, and as you launch it, you start doing these user interviews, user testing, you start doing your product design. Then you have trouble reaching the product market fit because you don't really, get into a state where you're user-centric, but you're rather, keeping on to your own ideas. So it might not grow from that. It might not go break this point that I like to call the smallest acceptable truth, or product market fit, or whatever you call it. It's this breaking point when your product becomes usable and understandable to the people who are supposed to use it, to the early majority, because that's where you want to end up. So we started using these 3 models. We had the SAMR model, and we had the jobs to be done that we just started with, and we did a practice run with a drill. And our objective here, which was set by the group on Facebook, was that we're going to innovate school. So that's what we're going to continue doing here. We're going to use the jobs to be done framework to do that. And then we're going to take you over to the value proposition canvas and show you a way that I like to solve that. So that's the outline of today. And if you are joining now, then please write something in the comments, like a hi, or I'm here, I'm up to no good, or what you are doing currently, because we are about to set off on this final part of the journey. And just to give you a little bit of a fresh up on what the jobs to be done is, and as that is the first thing that we are going to take or do. So jobs to be done, it argues that people don't buy products or brands, but they hire solutions that get jobs done. And so this idea is that people will use products, services, and brands in their life to do a job for them, meaning that they have a need that they use these products and services and brands to do for them. And when there is another brand that does that job better, people are not loyal to the brand or the product, but they move on to that new thing because it has a superior solution to the need that we have. Meaning, and what we mean with needs and jobs is that, insurance is not only limiting financial damages, but it's also the sense of feeling no worry. It's an emotional thing. Like if I want to do a backflip in the ski slope, then I would not probably do that if I didn't have any financial damage. So it enables me to do more things. by having insurance. Also, a hospital is not only plasters, doctors, waiting rooms, but it's rather the feeling of being cared for, feeling safe, being able to tell others that your doctor is the best. Those are the experiences of a hospital. A Ferrari does the same job as a Fiat, but in terms of the functional job, the like taking me from A to C, but it says something about you when you own a Ferrari or when you own a Fiat. Might be negative, positive, but you might feel strong. You might feel something different in your body when you drive a Fiat and when you drive a Ferrari. So here, those are the types of jobs we are looking for. We're splitting them into 3 categories. There are functional jobs, meaning what it does for you, A to C. There are emotional jobs, how we feel about our choices. Like, how do we feel? Does this brand make me feel pretty, or does it make me feel safe, or what does it do to me internally? And then it's the social thing, what it says about me, or how it helps me communicate to other people. And just to freshen up a little bit, when the iPod was launched, it was launched into a world of MP3 players where every single MP3 player had 1 million buttons, and no one understood what those buttons were. And then iPod went iPod on it, and they just introduced one button that everyone could feel like they understand. They also made it white, so all the other ones were black, and the headphones were black for pretty much every other MP3 player. And they then made it white, which communicated something about you without you having to tell other people. And so it said that you had the newest, coolest, finest thing in your pocket. Emotionally as well, what they did was that everyone else, all the other MP3 players, they were talking about megabytes, like how many megabytes you could fit into their MP3 player. But Apple instead decided to go with, you could have 1,000 songs that you love. And that's a much more emotional statement. Like, it triggers, like, I understand what I can have in this. 1,000 songs is a lot. I know that, and I know that if I can carry the ones that I love, then I know that it's enough for me, or it's actually a superior product than something that says that you have 256 megabytes. Either way, the functional need, you can listen to music on both of them. The jobs to be done is actually an interview technique where you start interviewing people about their purchase of some kind of product to sort of figure out why they bought it. So it's perfect for, interviewing existing customers or customers of people who are customers of your competitors. And so you start when they first started thinking about buying this thing, and then you go through the whole buying process, like what they went through, what they selected between, and all of those things. And then you come out on the other end, and you look at whether or not they were satisfied with their purchase. So that's pretty much the jobs to be done. We did a practice run with a drill, asking ourselves if there is a $50 drill or a $500 drill, and the average usage time is 7 minutes for a drill for its whole lifetime, then why would you buy the $500 drill? What might be those emotional needs, those social needs that you have to fulfill by buying a $500 drill if you could just get a $50 drill? If you're only going to use it for 7 minutes, it might, a $50 drill must last for 7 minutes at least. But then you guys started using that in order to, the functional needs. The $500 drill would make a hole, not break, dry paint rollers, put up paintings, make a hole, carve wood. Those were the ideas that you entered as functional needs. And it's pretty much what everyone does for this exercise. That makes sense. And then the emotional needs are more like, I would feel like an idiot who wastes money. I would feel self-sufficient and self-made. I would feel like I know that the job is getting done. I would feel more like Thanos. And there are all these suggestions about how this $500 drill made people feel instead of the $50 drill. And then in terms of the social needs, it looked more like I would be perceived as more practical, successful, a handyman. I would look like Anders Övergård. I like I would know shit, like I'm a materialist, like I can make things. Those are the things that it tells about me, right? So that is the exercise, and then the final output becomes then to have a brief. I'm gonna remove these because these were for the drill, and so the final output of this becomes a brief where you have done these interviews, and now I'm gonna bring you in here to the Miro. We are currently 2 people, and we will see how well we can do this. But if you have you create a job statement where you put all the functional jobs and all the competitors of those jobs, meaning you can drill holes, you can carve wood, and all of those things. You put all those, like the top job statements for the functional jobs up here. You write out any competitors for that. And then you put all the emotional jobs, meaning how it makes you feel, and all the social jobs about what it tells about you to other people. Once you have that, you save this card because this is a job statement of one of your customers, or one of the people who you're working with, and so that is something so you save this for future reference. So you can always go back to this and check whether or not you are in tune with your customers. But then as soon as you need to produce something, you create a mission statement, and there you go and you write that you have been tasked to create, and there it might be ad campaign, app, website experience, onboarding, whatever that might be, the thing that you are been tasked to create. And then you take the emotional and social jobs and you enter them here. That makes the user feel, and that helps them express, So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to populate this for school. So we're going to have a look at what functional jobs does school do, and what emotional and what social jobs does school do. All right, I'm going to go back and see if there is anyone here. Erik, good morning. Good morning, Erik. And good morning, Martin Kahn. We're currently one person in the Miro, and we have 12 people watching this stream. If you want to join the Miro, if we want to join the Canvas and be a part of this, and I strongly suggest that you do, because otherwise this exercise is a little bit pointless. The link is in the description of the Facebook post that has this, and it is in the description of the YouTube video as well. So if you're joining from YouTube or if you're joining from Facebook, it doesn't matter. Just go to the description and click the link, and you will end up on our common Canvas. Currently, we are 2 people doing this, and I think that perhaps, because I had a bit of those. I had a bit of that kind of week as well. So I'm not surprised that we're not that many people today. Usually we are around 20. Last week we were more than 70 and more than 150 people watching. But this week it seems like fall has taken its toll on people's availability. Either way. Yeah, Martin, I think it's you. Magnus. Magnus, are you ready? Should we get to this? Should we have a look at what we could do about the functional jobs of school? Or should we wait a little bit? So now Magnus is live here. Thank you, Magnus, for being alive and being well. I'm going to put up a functional job of school being their teachers. And I can get an education. I can get a certificate. I get books. Get a glossary. See, this is not fun, is it? I don't think this is fun. I need more people in here. I'm gonna try to make that happen. And what would there we go. The board is now public. Copy. I had made that impossible. Join us for the live workshop here on Miro. Here we go. Boom. And if anyone else wants to join, what I'm doing right now is that I'm posting to the group as well to show where you can join. Seems like we have people who like to watch but don't like to participate today. So let's pause this, because we actually need all the people for the jobs to be done, and we're going to do that separately later. And let's take the value proposition canvas, because that is not as, I can do that as a bit of a lecture instead of using it to pull together a workshop. Oh, now we're 2 people. That's great. So guest developer. Either way, we are going to move on, because we will need a little bit more people, and I will try to rally the troops for next week, and we'll bring that in. And I hope that is okay for those of you watching. If you think that's okay, then let's please just throw that in the comments. Magnus and guest developer are moving around here, having a look. We're going to move into the value proposition canvas. And so what the value proposition canvas is a way in which you can separate yourself and then bring yourself closer to what your client's needs are. And so you have a few boxes here that you are supposed to fill in. And Magnus and the other person, we are over here at the product and the value proposition canvas. What we're going to do now is we're going to take school, just as we did here under functional, emotional, and social jobs. We're going to take school, and we are going to break down all the features that exist in school. Like we have teachers, books, certificates, all of those things that are associated with school. Have a syllabus, etc. We have all those things, and that's what you put on the features. Those are all the things that you have within your company, within your brand, within like whatever it is that you do. Those are all the things that can sort of help you build and provide your service. What you then do is you go over to benefits, and teachers, they might give you teachers and the syllabus together might give you the sense like feeling secure, getting a good reputation, etc. Validation, exactly. All of those things that are benefits of going to school. Then, for example, just taking some, like listening to some random YouTuber, you might get, all the benefits out of your different features here. And this is something that is particular for school, perhaps. In this case, but for your service, you just write out all the benefits that might be involved in that. So you split the features and the benefits apart. Now what you do, once you have created your features and your benefits, you start designing experiences, and you think about this. You start out thinking about what's the first experience you want a customer to have or a user to have when they start using your service. And in terms of school, you went there in the first grade. It's not a choice, at least not in Sweden, to go to school. And so your first day in school, what do you want students to feel at the first day of school? Well, those 5, 6, 7-year-olds, depending upon where you are, yeah, I wanted to have like get a smile from the teacher that makes them feel like home. That's one of those experiences from the first day. And then when they graduate, when they graduate, I want them to feel great or proud about their accomplishment. Right? So for your service, you split out the features, everything that you do, all the services that you think that you provide, and then you take the benefits that those features create, and then you start designing experiences that you can actually deliver. See, here's the thing: like if you just if you from the beginning start looking at experiences, you might be missing out. Like there are some ways that you can combine your features, like what you can do and the benefits that those provide into experiences that you might not have thought of to begin with. But that's just one way. Welcome, Eric. That's just one way to do it. There are many, this is still just you looking at your capabilities of doing things. On the other side of this is the client's needs. You cannot, if you have a product, sorry, if you have a product that no one wants, or you design an experience that no one needs, then this job over here is useless, and you will never break from that space where you will never break into, or you will never create a market fit product. So you need to match it with the client's needs. And so I'm going to show you a few simple ways of doing that. The wants, in terms of looking at what people want, there are two great sources for that, for looking at that. There's surveys and there's social media. It's just to get like a quick look at what people think about those things. And what you can do is you can pretty much take anything from your features list. You can go and you can search. You can use Google, and you can go and you can search for lärare i skolan, right? And you can go to news. And you see here, this is in Swedish now, there are all these things that people want teachers to do, right? That's good. Or you can go to socialmention.com if you're doing this for free. And you can just get a lärare. You can get what people are saying about this. Now, this will probably take a ton of time to load, because it usually does. But I've listed another social media listening tool out here. Out here to the right on the canvas. And it says Social Media Buzz. There are some limitations to this, but it makes sense. So you can go lärare. Boom. Now it's searching through on both of those. Just to get some. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to find what people want about this one aspect of school. And then you go through all of the different features and you try to look for what is it that people say that they want here. In this tool, you're getting a lot of different. Let's do a filter on this, and let's only do Facebook, Twitter, and let's do Instagram and Reddit. Apply. All right. So here we will start seeing some things about. You've seen the reports about Angered's gang wars and teachers who are being threatened, blah, 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 blah. Here you can get a full view, what I'm saying. You can get a full view about what people think about, or not a full view, but a partial view about what people want. And so you start adding the wants into this. You just start going like this. Well, people want schools to be safe from crime. People want students to learn. Those are the type of ones. And, bringing this to your app, people might be requesting a ton of features that they say that they want. And that's all fine, The only problem with what people say that they want, it's not necessarily what they need. Steve Jobs was really good at understanding this when he was designing the Apple products. And what he did was he looked at what people wanted or said that they wanted, and then he started deriving what people actually needed from that. But if you have the opportunity to do surveys and do some social media monitoring, you will be able to find these ones pretty fast. And then what you do is you move on to needs, and those needs are those inherent things, those social and emotional needs that we have inside. Like, what do we actually need from school? Well, if we do some Google scraping, we can find that out pretty easy. And so what I usually do then, because needs are generally proclaimed in blogs and things like that, where people go a little bit deeper. And so one easy, quick way to do that is by going to teachers in school here, and then you go to tools, only Swedish pages, and only blogs, and do this by date. This was a horrible example, but let's try to do it anyhow. There is a scraper. I've added it here on the Miro. You can get it here. It's a plugin for Chrome. So I want all of these titles, because I know that you write the most important thing in the titles and in the beginning of the articles, and this is what I can get from here. So I just want an easy, quick overview of what do people need or what do people want. I want to get that fast. And so what I do is I go here and I left click this, and there's the scrape similar button. Hit that, boom, I get all of those articles, the 100 listings here for Google News. Then I copy them to clipboard, and I open an Excel sheet like this. So, oops. There we go. So here we go. I have all of those in here. Interesting. Now what I do is I copy them. I copy all of those, and I'm gonna do that from here. Copy to clipboard, and then I am going over to my Ngram generator. And what an Ngram generator is that an Ngram is it's analyzing text, and it's looking at what words comes in combinations with each other. You can see there are bigrams, trigrams, and I don't really know what the higher levels of Ngrams mean. But what they do is that they look at text. They look at word 1. What word comes after the first word? It's A. Then they look at word 2 and see what comes after that. And they look at word 3 and see what comes after that. Or if it's a trigram, they look at first, second, third word, second, third, fourth, fifth. And so what this means is that they are trying to analyze what this text is about. And so they're using a rule called chain rule, and they're looking at the probability of a word ending up after another word. And so bigrams look at 2-word combinations, trigrams look at 3-word combinations. And I hit generate trigrams or ngrams, and I will get the probability of this word combination existing in any text from these latest news about teachers in school. I am getting this, so teachers and students, students and teachers for 1 month. They don't use the Swedish letters o, ä, ö in this, but you can pretty much see what they're writing here. Now, why is this useful? Well, if I'm gonna write a newsletter, for example, this is the first use case of this. If I'm gonna write a newsletter and I wanna select something that is relevant for the subject line, I always do this. I go to Google. I search for blogs about the topic that I'm writing on, and as I do that, I get a list of the latest blog post, and then I just harvest what are they writing about right now, and then I do some n-gram analysis, looking at what word combinations do they use, and then I use that for the subject line of my email. That's the easiest application for this. A little bit more like what we're doing now is that I can use this to sort of try to find emotions within. Now, it was not a good search, not a good example, but here is one. Through dedicated teachers, but it only has a probability of 0.04. So that is not very probable to be a combination. But yeah, if I would have a higher probability, I would know that perhaps dedication is something that people find important. And what does dedication mean in terms of needs? What kind of need? If I need a dedicated teacher, or if I want a dedicated teacher, what is it that I actually need? What am I expressing? What kind of need do I express? Well, I might want to feel cared for, or I might, I might want to feel a sense of importance, etc., etc. Those are important to me because I want dedicated teachers, and maybe I want the teachers to feel safe at work. I don't know, something like that. And so I go through that. I use this scraper tool and I generate n-grams. Sometimes, I might not want to sit down and have these analyses of this, and I just want to see what are the most common words used, because I'm getting into a space which I don't necessarily work in. And then I use a word cloud, and this service for Jason Davis is perfect. I just delete what it's in there from the beginning. Here we go. I get that stuff again. I post it in, and it generates. It's teachers, it's digital, schools, students, school, 2020, 2019, right? So here, digital is something that I should probably use in combination with teachers. Something is happening in March. I don't know. Well, yeah, something did happen in March. Do you remember what it was? And here from this you can get a big idea about what type of word combinations are important to keep track of, and that also gives you a sense of what people might need or what people might want, depending upon what source you use in order to do this, right? Then you go for fears, and fears is best to look at industry press, actually, because if anyone can pick up any fear of any group, it's industry press, like the unions, newspaper or magazines, or you can pick it up from tech, online press. You can pick it up from they generally make clickbait headlines, and within those clickbait headlines there are generally a lot of problems being expressed, and so you can probably get all the fears and holdbacks for your specific industry by looking at that industry press, because just analyzing the frequency of what words are used, you will find what kind of fears and holdbacks your target group is being told to think about right now. I mean, there is this innate relationship between what media or what mass media writes and does and what people are thinking is the problem in society, which has some consequences that are not very nice, but it's the truth. So you fill in. Maybe one of the fears is that I don't know if I will be able to make it in school. I don't know. Maybe that is something that people think. Then I look at all of these things I look at all of these things that I have here, like what are the people say they want? Like, how do I need to package this in order to make people buy it? What do they actually need? What kind of features do I have to combine with those benefits in order to make these needs be adhered to as well? They might not be expressed, but they are there underlying. Like, how do I solve their actual problem, like with my product? And then you look at what do I have to reduce in terms of friction? What do I have to have a look at in order to reduce the friction that people are experiencing when using my product? And what happens then is that you start looking at the experience that you can offer, and you match them with what you see in these fields here, and you try to find the one experience that best fits your target group. And so it's a very once you do this with your own company, or if you decide to do it on your own or whatever you do, when you start using this, it will be a very like sombering experience, because you will see that some of the experiences that you have designed, they have absolutely no application to the target group you've intended, whilst other experiences that you can design have a very strong, position amongst your potential customer needs. And so this is something that I like everyone to do, because what you do then is you find an experience that actually matches the needs of people, and then you write out your value proposition based on that. So you take something from here and something from here that you could do, and then you write that out. Here is my value proposition. So for that value proposition, you then go out and look who is competing. Like, for example, if your value proposition is the most entertaining education, right? There is that entertainment word in there. If people wanted school to be more entertaining and you could provide that service, then your value proposition would be the most entertaining education, or the most safe education, as it seemed when we were scraping those things, or the most digital was also something that we found in that word cloud. Here we found it, digital here. So if that is your value proposition, then who are you competing with? Well, you're not competing with other traditional schools. If you say that you're most digital education, you're competing with all the online players essentially. And so that becomes of essence. So you like all the online players. And what do they offer? And how are you different from them? And that's where you start to make sense of how you should express your offer. Like, this is you, and how are you different to those guys, right? So that's the value proposition canvas. And then whatever you find here, now this makes like whatever you find here to be your value proposition will then be guiding in terms of what you do for your growth later, for your pirate metrics, or for your growth canvas, or for your let me show you what I mean. I'm going to open up another. I'll be there in a little bit. Here. Right. So once you've filled this in, then you take your value proposition and you write it here. And that's the governing thing for everything you do within awareness, activation, acquisition, conversion, and retention, right? So it will guide whatever your activities are here, whatever you always have to adhere to your value proposition. How can I express the most digital education in terms of retention? How can I express the most digital education in terms of conversion? Like, how can I express it in terms of activation, awareness, right? So that you always stay true to your value proposition. This will, make perfect alignment in your communication overall, because it's governed by the value proposition that customers are actually wanting and needing, and limiting their fears and holdbacks. And you have your target group, of course, because those were the people you were sourcing over here. and you have the experience of the brand that you want to create. So you have all the things you need in order to sort of limit the like types of activities that goes into the rest of the rest of your growth process, essentially. Right. So that is the value proposition canvas, and I am sure that I've been a little bit fussy in my explanation. Any questions on this? Because we are going to do the last part with the jobs to be done where we are more people, and I'm going to do a better job at sort of promoting that session so that there are more of us in there. Does this make sense? People in the comments, does this make sense, or is this absolutely useless, or is this something that you would consider using or not using? It's always like this. You see that there are 11 people watching, but you don't know who they are, and you don't know from where. Well, actually, I can see there are 3 people who are from YouTube and 8 people in the Growth Hackers group. And the only problem is I cannot know whether or not they are here. Right. So if you see this later, this board will be open. Yes, I like the combo with the growth canvas. Yeah, it's been really helpful since I was introduced to this. It made sense. Makes sense, Eric says. Makes sense, we'll use it. Yeah, it's like once you start, I mean, as well, you can, I just joined. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I should have done a better job at telling the story that we were gonna do this. I mean, I will keep the board open so that people can edit it, and as you watch this afterwards, you will be able to follow along and do what we just did here. It's really helpful. I mean, for me, since I started using this not that long ago, when I just started using this specific format, it was in a I've been doing similar types of activities, but I hadn't really done it in this format, and it was in collaboration with one of a person called Pat Gren that we started using this, and Jens, I don't have his last name, and then I amended the growth marketing canvas to better suit the way of working that I think works. Because, for example, in the growth marketing canvas from the beginning, there were only they put referral in the very end, and I'm like, what? Why? Referral is not an activity in its own. It's something that you do in every step of the process, and if you don't think of it that way, then you're in a bad place, because everyone has got to be able to pick up and tell your story, or tell their version of your story. Unless they can't, then you're not doing your job properly. So I always bring it out of that standard growth model. Where can I find the board? The board, it should be in the comments of it should be. So one person from Facebook asks where he or she can find the board, and in the comments of the Facebook post with this video is being played, or it is in the YouTube description, because this is being streamed to both YouTube and Facebook. And so that is where you can find the link to this canvas, where you have all of these kinds of, so the sources that we used for this one. You can just click them out here, and then you get the scraper, the Ngram generator, World Cloud, and the social bus monitoring. My English is terrible today. Tool. So value proposition canvas in combination with like, you don't have to do the the growth marketing canvas as a second activity, but you can just use it in order to derive email copy or what to talk about in a Facebook post or whatever it is that you want to do. But this is a good place to start in order to become user-centric in a pretty fast and easy way. So that's pretty much it for today. I see that more people are joining now in the live stream. But we are going to keep the jobs to be done, and we're going to do it in a separate session where we only do that. I know that I was a little bit too into it when I thought that we were going to do all these 3 sessions. Thank you, Eric. Eric just commented on Facebook with the link to the Miro board. And there are tons of things we can do here, but I think that doing all these 3 in the same 1-hour session was a little bit too hefty. But I think that maybe in 2 hours you can do all the 3. But for next time, I'm probably not going to do the jobs to be done thing next time. I think we're going to do another type of thing. A canvas like this one attracts the eye, triggers thoughts and team activities. Most definitely. So Facebook user says a canvas, I guess, or a canvas, I don't know what that is, but a canvas like this one attracts the eyes. And it's super, super good for collaboration in teams. And now that we're working away from each other, because all of these things are stored and then you can print them. And you can vote and things like that. So it becomes a really helpful tool for collaborating around projects. And you save it, and then you can follow it up with your customers or with whoever over time. All right. I'm going to keep this public so that you can actually post in here. Someone of course, because I kept it open in the beginning, posted a not so nice photo in here. They uploaded a photo, and I had to change that. But other than that, I think that this should be open. And if someone has put something inappropriate in here, then please just remove it, because if you're in here editing whilst I'm not seeing, then please remove it. But we are all childish, or sometimes we do mistakes. So yeah, canvas, yes, just woke up. All right, guys. That's that for today. I hope it gave you some new tools in which you can sort of break out of your own head and try to get into the heads of your potential market. Yeah, thanks for today. I will be back maybe next week, maybe the week after. I have not decided. I think I'm going to do these every second week now, and then focus on the Swedish version of this, focusing on marketing directors instead every other week, and then this every other week, because my objective here is to build like a huge community where everyone is super interested in actually working with marketing and not only like being a cool marketer and growth hacker and product developer and UX personality or whatever. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.